Am I the a-hole for kicking my sister out of my wedding after she told my parents about it? I, 30 male, have been estranged from my parents for years. They didn't respect a decision I made year ago that turned out to be the best thing in my life. The way my wife and I became couple, I guess, can say seems like a rom-com only. It was a lot heavy trauma in the beginning. We grew up in a very religious community, and my wife, when we were 18, we were only friends at the time, got pregnant with her long-distance ex and he left her. Her family was terrible and she was so scared of what they would do. They cared a lot about their image and how everyone else in our area viewed them, so it would have been seen as a disgrace getting a pregnant out of wedlock. I came up with the idea that we should get married. At least the blow wouldn't be too big. She wouldn't get thrown out and ostracized or worse. My family was completely against this since they knew I wasn't the biological father. Her family knew, but again, they cared about what their image, so as long as she was married before she started to show her, they didn't care. Then our daughter was born a couple years down the line. We finally left that awful place. I got divorced on paper but was still very involved in their lives because I wanted my daughter to have a father. Fell in love, and here we are over 10 years later. My parents never accepted my relationship with my daughter even after we began an actual relationship. Then they said some horrible stuff about my daughter and we never spoke again. We got remarried a couple months ago. For the whole year after getting engaged, my sister, only person in contact with, kept telling me and my parents wanted to get in touch. But I had made it clear that we have nothing to say to each other. They showed up unannounced at my wedding, and my sister revealed she was the one who told them when and where. She wanted to mend things between us. I couldn't believe it. We had security made them leave, and I was so angry I kicked my sister out too, which did hurt, but in the moment I was also betrayed. My wife supported me 100%. My wife supported me 100%. The rest of the night was great, so at least I didn't spoil it. But my sister has been angry at me ever since, thinking I'm an a-hole for throwing her out of the wedding, when this could have been everyone's chance at a fresh start, after always being there for me, according to her. My sister was the only one who supported me throughout this, so this is why the betrayal more after I told her I'm done with them, yet still bringing them to the wedding. But was it going too far to kick her out though? Am I the a-hole?
NTA. Sister doesn't realize it, but her doing that to you is super manipulative and toxic. Your wedding, your rules. Rules get broken, price gotta be paid. Your wedding isn't for mending fences, nor is it about your non-existent relationship with your parents. It is about celebrating your relationship with your chosen wife. The fact that the sister made it all about her by trying to fix your relationship with your parents to suit her idea of a fresh start is so selfish and shows how little she values your marital relationship and happiness compared to her definition of the perfect family. You're better off without her. NTA. This was my first response. My sister was the only one who supported me through this. I understand feeling guilty because she was there for Op in rough times, but the fact is, in the end she wasn't supportive at all. She decided that her feelings towards the situation and her parents' desires were more important than the needs of Op and the boundaries Op explicitly stated. She decided she knew best, and her parents' wants were more important than Op's feelings toward the matter, and if that wasn't terrible enough, she chose the absolute worst day to ambush Op and could have potentially ruined their wedding with her serious lapse of judgment. To me this seems incredibly emotionally manipulative on her part because it put Op in the position of either saving face or causing a scene and potentially ruining his own wedding due to standing up for himself. Sister is a selfish and absolutely deserves to be put on timeout indefinitely until she realizes what an move that was and sincerely apologizes and makes it up to both Op and their spouse. I don't know how many movies the sister has seen, but it sounds like she wanted this to go down like a rom-com. Brother gets married. Parents show up unannounced, they all have a heart-to-heart, family is back together. Camera cuts to them dancing on the dance floor at the reception while Celebration by Kool and the Gang plays over the end credits. But real life isn't like that. A wedding is a day for the bride and groom, not for repairing broken families. If anything, the situation is now worse for her, because she lost Op's trust and may never get it back. I agree with you /Freckles Mama 333 that she was being manipulative and toxic, whether she knew it or not. Edit, formatting. Also Op his NTA. NTA. WTF was she thinking? They'd show up, uninvited, and you'd have a magical Disney moment? She knew where you stood and still made the decision to do this. At your wedding. No, she deserved to get the boot. It's great she had been supportive, but while she may have been supportive, she clearly didn't pay attention to how you felt. Had she'd never had done this. As an aside, I think your parents were right to be concerned with, against, what you did way back when. Though I have major respect for you for stepping in and being the child's father even when it fell apart. But regardless, it's still your life, your decision, your feelings towards the situation, and absolutely not her place to take that kind of action. What she was thinking was that you wouldn't dare/couldn't possibly turn the parents away at the wedding, and therefore she could use this approach to force you to reconnect. Maybe she thought it would be for the best, because she's in denial about how bad your parents were to you. Even so, that means she thought that she would make your life decisions for you. You have every right to your anger in having kicked her out. Given that she's been supportive of you in other ways, and that you know she has been manipulated by that community throughout her life, maybe she doesn't understand that loving adults don't force each other to do things like this. It's up to you how you want to relate to her. Maybe you could express that you understand why she was hurt to be excluded, but she hurt you too. She took your parents' side against yours, so it makes sense that you treated her like you treated them, in that moment. I hope she understands. Sister's thoughts. Like you say, they'd have a magical Disney moment. Op's guard would be down, he's happy, and that'd blunt any bad feelings he's have towards random show-ups. Op is surrounded by guests, he's not going to make a scene. Reconciliation will happen, followed by everyone commending sis on a good job. Does anyone else think this is tantamount to stealing the bride's moment?